I am so happy to see that you actually watched this video along with the circle video and you didn't just blow it off. So, parabolas. I'm sure you're probably sick of parabolas. You probably graphed a million parabolas in your life, but we're going to take a different look at them. We're actually going to look at them as a conic section. Now, conic sections, I'll show you what a conic section really represents when I get back to school. Sorry, right now I'm kind of enjoying Florida. A parabola is the set of all points xy in a plane that are equidistant away from a fixed line, the directrix, and a fixed point, the focus, not on the line. The midpoint between the focus and the directrix is the vertex, and the line passing through the focus and the vertex is the axis of the parabola. So, what we have here is I have your typical parabola drawn here. What you're not used to doing and what we're going to be doing here is you need to realize that somewhere in here is what we call the focus. And then equidistant away, so this distance here, if I go down that same distance here, is our directrix. And what is special about a parabola is that no matter where you choose on your parabola, it is going to be equidistant away from your directrix. I know my drawing isn't very accurate here. And your focus. It will always be like that. So some special qualities about this graph that we have here. We have our vertex identified, our focus, this was our directrix. And this axis here that has both your focus and your vertex is known as the axis of the parabola. So there's two forms, standard forms for a parabola. Once again, these are formulas you are going to want to know. They are dependent upon which way your parabola is opening. Is your parabola opening up or down? If it is, that's your vertical axis. So something like this, or something like this. Or is it opening left or right, sideways? So you could have something like this, or you could have something like this. These are all parabolas. Alright, so these, need to know, make sure you write those down. Those are very important formulas. P, right here, is the directed distance from the vertex to the focus. Directed distance being the key word there. What this is telling us is if it is positive, then P is going to be a positive direction. The vertex in the focus is going to be in the positive direction. If it was negative P, then your vertex or your focus would be in the negative direction. The directrix is negative P units from the vertex and is perpendicular to the axis. This may sound kind of confusing. It'll make more sense once we start graphing here. So, find the vertex, focus, and directrix, sketch a graph. So, we have, first of all, a Y here. That means we are looking at a horizontal. So we're going to use a horizontal equation. The horizontal equation was Y minus K quantity squared equals 4P times X minus H. So looking at this, we can identify our HK, our center. Our center being here, well, what is attached to this X here? Nothing, so we assume H is 0. Our K value is 2. So we have a center of 0, 2. Well, not center. I chose the wrong word there. A vertex, sorry about that. A vertex of 0, 2. And we know that we're going to be opening up sideways. So there, let me choose a different color, is our vertex. Now, this 6 here is equivalent to 4P. 6 equals 4P. That means 6 over 4, or 3 halves, is equivalent to P. If you recall, not what I wanted to do, P is the directed distance. P is the directed distance. So that means our focus is going to be 3/2 units away from P in the positive direction because P is positive here. 3/2 units away in the positive direction would be to the right in this instance since it is a horizontal parabola. So 3/2 units away would be 1.5 units away here. This is my focus. My focus will have the ordered pair, in this case, 3/2, 2. Now, your vertex is the midpoint of your focus in your directrix. So if I went 3/2 units away to the right to get my focus, I'm going to go 3/2 units away to the left for my directrix. So my directrix is going to be the equation x equals -3/2. The last thing I want you to do is to just find 2 more ordered pairs so that I can do this. Now, the easiest way to go about doing this is to go ahead and plug in a value for x. So say I want to know when x equals, I don't know, 2. So I'm going to have y minus k squared equals 4p times, why am I using this? I want the actual equation. I'm going to have y minus 2, sorry guys, squared equals 6 times 2. So that'd be what? Y minus 2 quantity squared equals 12. Solve for y. Square root both sides. I should have chosen a number that would work out better. It's okay. And then I'm going to have y minus 2 equals plus or minus radical 12. So y equals 2 plus or minus radical 12. I would find out what those exact values are, graph them, and draw my parabola. So that's kind of where we're going here. What you need to do when solving these, first of all, always identify your vertex, your focus, and your directrix. Graph it, and you're done. Find 2 more ordered pairs, and you're done. Alright, so now down to number 2. I have x minus 1 quantity squared equals -8 times y minus 2. For this one, I have my x value being squared, so I know I'm going to have a vertical. If you recall, vertical equation followed the equation y x minus h quantity squared equals 4p times y minus k. So identify what we know. Well, we know our vertex is the ordered pair 1, negative, 1, 2. 1, 2, because it's x minus 1. Alright, so I have my vertex. I'm trying to get this thing out of the way, but it doesn't work. Okay. My focus, I'm going to find from the fact that 4p here is equal to -8. So I know 4p is equal to -8, which means p is -2. So when I look at this graphically here, I have 1, 2, there is my vertex. P is -2. P is -2. And remember, we're opening up and down. So my focus is going to be -2 units away from my vertex. It's actually going to be right here then. I go down 2. So that is my focus. That would be the ordered pair. 1, 0. Sorry. And now, if I went -2 units away down, I need to go 2 units up, and that will give me my directrix. that your directrix is always the equation of a line. In this case, is going to be y equals 4. Last thing we need to do is find some ordered pairs. Now, the easiest way to go about this is, for this case, I know I'm going to be opening down, so I'm probably just going to want to find my x-intercepts. My x-intercepts occur when when y is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for when y is 0. So x minus 1 squared equals negative 8 times 0 minus 2. X minus 1 squared equals negative 8 times negative 2 is a positive 16. Square root both sides. X minus 1 equals plus or minus 4. Why is this hating me tonight? So x equals 1 plus or minus 4. So my two solutions for x, 1 plus 4 is 5. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And I draw my parabola. Alright, so we're just going to keep doing some more examples like this. Here I have y squared minus 4y minus 4x equals 0. Now, this isn't in standard form for anything here, so what do we have to do? You guess it, we have to complete the square. So I already have my y's here. I have y squared, so I know right away, since my y is the squared one, that automatically means it's going to be horizontal. So I'm going to want to get it to be y minus k squared equals 4p, oh, it hates me, times x minus h. Alright, so we need to complete the square. I have y squared minus 4y plus blank. I'm going to take everything over to the other side. 4x plus blank. Take my b and divide it by 2. My b value here is negative 4. So divide that by 2, I get negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. This factors very nicely to be y, same signs, both negative, y minus 2 quantity squared. Here I have 4x plus 4. Now, these both, if I need this to be 4p times x minus h, so I need to factor out any coefficient on x, because x doesn't have a coefficient. It's x minus h. There is no coefficient on x, so if there is one, I need to factor it out. Here I have a 4x, so I need to factor out a 4. I'm left with x plus 1. This is now my standard form. Standard form where my vertex would be of the form, be careful with this. A lot of people make mistakes with this because they read left to right. But remember, your vertex is hk. H is always attached to x, k is always attached to y. So my vertex here would actually be negative 1, 2, not 2, negative 1. Be careful with that. 4p is actually going to be equivalent to 4, which means p is simply 1. So we have a horizontal parabola with a vertex at negative 1, 2. My p-value is 1. If my p-value is 1, that means my focus is the ordered pair 0, 2. That would then mean if I went 1 unit in the positive direction for my focus, I need to go 1 unit in the negative direction for my directrix, which gives me the equation x equals negative 2. I need to complete my parabola by finding some ordered pairs. For this instance, I'm just going to let y equal 0. So letting y equal 0, I have 0 minus 2 squared equals 4 times x plus 1. I don't want to let y equal 0. I want to let x equal 0. So I'm trying to find this. Sorry, guys. It's actually... Alright, so I want to let x equal 0. I apologize for that. I want to let x equal 0. That's why it wasn't going to work out. So I have y minus 2 squared equals 4 times 0 plus 1, 0 plus 1 being 1. 1 times 4 is simply 4. So I really have y minus 2 squared equals 4. Square root both sides. Y minus 2 equals plus or minus 2. I end up with y equals 2 plus or minus 2. So my answers for y are either 0 or 4. Make my parabola. Remember, your parabola will always, always, always open away from your directrix. Your focus always needs to be inside your parabola. Alright, so find the standard form of the equation of a parabola. So when doing these, you always need to draw a sketch. Always, always need to draw a sketch. So what we have right now, we have a vertex at the origin. My focus is at the ordered pair 3, 0. What this tells me right away is I know if my focus is going to be inside my parabola is going to be going like this. So I know right away it's horizontal. Horizontal will always use the equation y minus k squared equals 4p times x minus h. Alright, now I know that the distance from my vertex to my focus is 3. If you recall, that distance is going to be equal to 4p. Nope. Just did that wrong too. I'm really, doing an awesome job here. 3 is equal to p. 3 is equal to p. P is the directed distance. So if 3 is equal to p, 4p is going to be 12. Alright, so we know our HK, because we know our vertex. This helped us find our P. We know our P to be 12, so we can just fill it in now. We know y minus 0 squared is y squared. 4P we already found to be 12, times x minus 0 is simply x. This right here would be your equation. As I just stated when doing the last one, you always want to start with a drawing. Just a quick little sketch. So my vertex here is -1, 0. My focus is -1, 2. Right away, what this tells me is I have a vertical parabola. Vertical parabola will always take the equation x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. Alright, let's not make the same mistakes I made last time here. So this will tell us our distance, our p value, and this here is 2. If p is 2, then 4p is equivalent to 8. We know our h and our k, so we can just fill it in. I have x minus a -1 becomes x plus 1. And 4p is equal to 8. And then y minus 0 is simply just y. So I have x plus 1 quantity squared equals 8y. Now here, identifying what we know, our vertex is the ordered pair 0, 5. It has a vertical axis. We know right away it has a vertical axis. So we're going to be using x minus h squared equals 4p times y minus k. This computer hates me tonight. It truly does. We've been talking about it. Sorry about that. Let's start over. So it's going to be x minus h quantity squared equals 4p times y minus k. It contains the point negative 3, 2. So filling in what we know so far. What we know so far is we know h and k. So x minus h is 0, so that's just x squared, equals 4p times y minus 5. We know now we have an x and a y that satisfy this equation. So if I plug these in, negative 3 squared equals 4p times y is 2 minus 5. Negative 3 squared is 9. Equals 4p times negative 3. Solving for p. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to worry about solving for p, because what we're ultimately trying to find is 4p. So dividing by negative 3, we get that 4p is going to be equal to negative 3. We can then substitute that back in here. And our final answer is x squared equals negative 3 times y minus 5. Alright, final problem that we're going to do here. A suspension bridge has cables that are suspended in the shape of a parabola between the towers that are 500 feet apart. The top of each tower is 400 feet above the roadway. The cables touch the roadway midway between the two towers. So we have two towers here. Great movie if you like Lord of the Rings. It's my fave. We know that the two towers are 500 feet apart, in that they have a parabola here that goes midway. Well, if it goes midway, then we know that this distance here is 250 and this distance here is 250. The top of each tower is 400 feet above the roadway. So this right here would be the ordered pair 250, 400. This point right here would actually be the ordered pair negative 250, 400. Find the equation of the parabola centered from the cables. Well, it is a vertical, so it's going to be x minus h quantity squared equals 4p times y minus k. hk is actually going to be 0, 0 here. So what do we know so far? Well, we know we have an x and a y that are on this. Let this be your x, y. So plugging in x squared, but x is actually 250. 250 squared equals 4p times y, y being 400. 250 squared over 400 is going to be equal to 4p, which is what we're trying to solve for. 250 squared is 662,500 over 400. My zeros cancel out. 625 over 4. So my equation is simply going to be x squared equals 4p is equivalent to 625 over 4 times y. That would be my answer. How high is the suspension bridge 100 feet from the end of the bridge? Key there, from the end of the bridge. So if we go 100 feet from the end of the bridge, we've actually gone 150 feet. So we just need to calculate what f of 100 is. Sorry, not 100, f of 150. F of 150 is So I just plug in 150 for x squared. y. Solving, doing your math. I should come down to 144 feet. And that is your quick lesson on parabolas. I know it wasn't very quick. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry I messed up so many times. Please forgive me. I will answer any questions you guys have when I get back.